This short yoga practice is to help even the most inflexible people find some flexibility and mobility in their bodies. Hi, I'm Beth. Now, before you say yoga is not for you, you're too inflexible, I want you to know that I didn't start yoga until I was in my 30s. I didn't become a teacher until I was in my 40s. And now I'm in my late 50s. And so this is a gentle practice that most people can do, can find some range of motion in these poses. It's great for beginners, perfect for seniors, perfect for anyone new to yoga who wants to experiment a bit with some of these movements. Now we are going to be seated for the first part, and then we'll go to standing, still using the chair for assistance. If you want to stop after the seated part, that is absolutely fine. You can come back and do the standing later. Okay, so let's start. You should have a sturdy chair and we'll find a comfortable seat. It's best to be sitting a little bit toward the edge of your chair so that your sits bones can make good contact with the chair. Feet are perhaps a little bit ahead of knees and as wide apart as it's comfortable for you to feel stable. We want to feel upright, but we also want to feel stable in our chair, stable in our seat. This is one of the basic principles of yoga that we want our yoga postures to be both stable and comfortable. So here in the chair, we're going to work on moving the spine in all six directions that it goes in, starting with forward and back movements. So we're going to take our arms out to like a W shape. And as you breathe in, think about drawing your shoulder blades together on your back, reaching your chest forward, arching your back. This is our little back bend, or it's also called our cow pose shape. Take a big breath in across the front of your body here. And then as you exhale, reach your arms forward. You can think about tucking your chin, maybe doing a little curve with your body. We'll move back and forth like that. Inhale, arms draw back, chest comes forward. Exhale, round and reach forward. Now, your range in these two movements is likely going to be different than mine, and that is fine. Find your own range, work within your own body. The idea is to get your body used to moving in some of these ways. And as it feels doable, you can practice different sensations, different ranges. Okay, last one. One more breath in. Reach the chest forward. You might even look up a little bit. Exhale, round. And then let the arms come back to your sides. Make sure you're seated up straight. Again, we always want to adjust our seat. And then from here, we will take a side bend. So we move front and back. Now we'll go side to side. Let your hands just fall by your sides. It's best to have a chair without arms. And so we'll reach down to your right, keeping your left sits bones on the chair as you let your body just sort of bend to your right and then come up and go the other direction. And again, this is up to you to find what range works for you and to find the pace. You can go slower than I'm going. You might linger on a side where you want more stretch. For me, this side needs a little more stretch. So when you lean left, you'll likely feel the stretch somewhere along the right side. Let's do one more on each side like this. And then you can stay with this movement, or this time as we go to your right, option to take the other arm up and overhead. Now, if you feel a little like you're going to fall over, take your right arm and cross it over and just hold on to your leg a little bit. That will give you a little more stability. If you don't like the arm overhead, obviously stay with the first version we did. You can also have the bottom hand lightly holding the chair, or remember reaching across. And your top arm doesn't have to be straight, it's just helping aid into the reach of the side stretch. All right, one more time each side. As you move, you might let your in-breath help you to stretch in the movement, and then your exhale can help you back up. All right, we have just one more spinal movement. The last direction of our spine is in a twisting movement. So you can do the twist facing forward and simply take your left hand across to your opposite thigh, maybe your right hand to the side or the back of the chair. I'm going to do this twist going sideways. So I'm scooching over. If you're sideways, it's okay if your one side of your bottom is a little off the chair. You'll turn toward the chair and use your hands on the chair to help aid in the stretch. So if it's your right side toward the chair, you'll use your right hand maybe to give a gentle little push as you turn toward the chair. Left hand helps stabilize. And you can look in the direction you're turning, or you can experiment with turning the head the opposite direction for a different feeling, a different sensation. Breathe so that you stay tall in your twist. So one more breath, breathing in a tall spine. Exhale, let the breath out. And then if you were sideways, scoot yourself back to front for a moment, center here. And remember, as we go to the other side, you can either take the hand across, hold onto the outside of your thigh wherever you comfortably reach, take the other hand somewhere on the chair and turn that way. If you're doing it facing forward, you still want to be really upright. So think about your spine tall and then move into the twist. I'm going to scooch my knees over in this direction. Still feel stable in your chair. Remember, we start upright first, and then reach your arm across. Both hands come to the back of the chair. And you can see here's where it is really important to have a chair with no arms. Breathe in. You can have a gentle press into the left hand or press both palms onto the back of the chair to help you be a little bit more upright. One more breath here. Fully exhale that little bit of wringing yourself out in the twist. And then make your way back forward. We're going to get ready to stand. You might simply move around a little in the chair, see how you're feeling so far. Take one mindful breath in and out here. All right, we will switch to a standing position. Have your chair nearby. Now that we are standing, now our feet are going to help to anchor us, to ground us. So look down at your feet. It is best to practice without socks so that you can really feel your feet on the ground, hopefully on a yoga mat that's going to help you not slip. Spread your toes out, let the entire foot spread out on the mat. Feet are about hip width apart. You can adjust wider or narrower for your own stability. And we're going to simply move around a little bit here. We'll be doing a little bit more of this work, but this is the idea of just feeling our body in space, helping us get used to shifting our weight, which we have to do in order to balance. And if you want to do more balance training, I have a video specifically on that you can try. If you feel unbalanced at any point, that's why we have the chair here. Simply hand on the chair to find your balance. And from this movement side to side, front, back, we are eventually going to let our body settle where it feels centered, where you feel that standing is pretty effortless, that you can stand tall, that your joints are stacked, so your knees are over your ankles, hips are over your knees, shoulders over hips, crown of the head moving toward the sky. We'll do a few simple shoulder rolls here. I'm lifting my shoulders up toward my ears, pulling them back. I like to do my shoulder rolls mainly rolling back because all day we tend to hunch a little bit more forward in our posture. You can go both directions if you prefer. This is my own personal preference. And now we're going to turn toward the chair to do chair pose with the chair. I'll show it with the chair and without the chair, so you have two options. So for our yoga chair pose, we'll rest our hands lightly on the chair. Don't grab it because you don't want to pull it back with you. We're going to sit ourselves down as if you're sitting in a chair. So again, feet are nice and stable. You start to bend your knees and sit back. Now we're not going all the way to the chair today, so no need to sit deep. As you sit, you'll probably start feeling some activation of the muscles around your ankles, your shins, your legs. This is great. This helps us to strengthen, it helps us to get more flexible. Now you can hold the pose or come right back up and maybe go up and down a few times. As you move, think about movement as lubrication for your joints, helping you to become more flexible and mobile. And then as you hold, it helps us train a bit in strength. Now I'm going to come forward. You can keep a hand on the chair. Maybe have one hand on the hip as you sit back, or do a half prayer hand. You can also, if you feel balanced and feel stable, take both hands front or go back to that W shape, breathe into that shape. This is going to be our last chair pose hold. Hold here for one breath. And as you exhale, release. All right, now we're going to take the feet a little wider. Hands on your hips. We're simply going to shift weight, but this time with our hips. So swaying the hips a little side to side. Again, if we want to be more flexible, we need to take our body, our muscles into different ranges, our joints. We want to try to explore the range, and then we can hold poses at whatever our end range is for today. Your end range can change over time. That's basic of flexibility training. A few more like this, feeling your weight move from one foot to the other. This is our preparation for a variation of yoga triangle pose. All right, come to center. If your chair is on your right, you're going to turn your right foot so that it faces the chair. So your feet are kind of forming a little T. Feel free to adjust this. It doesn't have to be super wide. We're trying to play around with some movement shapes that might be new to you. Let your front hand rest either on the chair or on your hip. So right hand on your hip or on the chair, left hand to your left hip. And we're going to do that hip shift again. So this time kicking the left hip into that back hand. And you'll notice as you do that, you start to lean the front body. I think of this as sort of the I'm a little teapot, this is your spout. So let that lean happen. And then whenever you get to the point where it feels like you're getting some resistance, simply hold there. That's your range point for today. You can stay and hold. You can do what we did before and come out and come back in. And if this is feeling okay, option to reach the top arm up, lift it up toward the ceiling, or perhaps overhead to the side, maybe finding a different version of that side stretch. All right, one more breath here. Use your exhale to lift your body up and out. And we'll do the other side. Now I'm going to show side two without the chair. If you're using the chair, you can simply turn around so that your other hip is facing the chair. So this time we're going to take the left foot out. That's going to be the sign we're leaning toward. Right hand on the right hip. And remember, we start by kind of letting the hip shift into the hand. And that's as the pelvis moves in that direction, that is going to help us find our side bend. If you want, if your hand's not resting on the chair, you can reach your front arm out or simply let it rest softly on your leg. So not leaning hard into that, just a soft rest to remind you to help you to stabilize a bit. And then hold wherever you find your range. Remember that you can stay here. You can reach the arm out and up, or perhaps you might choose an overhead reach with the top arm. Holding here for a moment or two in your stretch. Last breath in. And then exhale as you push down into both feet to come up. Take your feet in, find your mountain pose again. And we have one last pose using the chair. This is going to be a chair downward dog, or you might think of it as a chair L shape. So you can do this with your hands on the back of the chair or with your hands on the seat of the chair. I'm just going to move my chair a little forward. I recommend you have all four legs of the chair on your mat. I'm just moving it for filming purposes. All right, step a little away from your chair so that your hands can rest on the chair. And then we're going to start to step back. Do this slowly, no need to go fast. And as you step back, we'll be starting to find a hinge at our hip crease. So not a rounding of the back. The whole time we want to keep our back elongated. And in fact, you might find that this is your version of down dog today. A little bit of a lean, but right at the hip joint. Knees don't have to be straight. They can be soft to help support any twinges that you might feel in the back. If you're feeling good here, then you experiment with walking the feet back a little bit more. Again, you've got the chair for support. You could widen your feet if you want more support. And I'm feeling okay here, so I'm going to start hinging further. Again, the hinge is coming entirely from my hips, like a door closing as my tailbone moves in the other direction. And maybe I can find a place where my arms are reaching and my head, my ears are sort of between my biceps. When you find your place of comfortable hold, take a few breaths. You might move around a little bit to refine your pose. I think in down dog of sending my tailbone in the opposite direction of my arms, lifting my low back a little bit toward the sky, lifting my triceps, even my armpits up and away from the floor. One more breath. And then you can bend your knees to help you slowly walk in. Now, as we reach the end of our practice, if you feel like you want a rest, you're welcome to come down to lying on the floor or return to seated in your chair and take a few moments. If you're still standing with me, just take a moment to observe how you feel. Notice whether you were able to make it through that practice. Doesn't matter if what you did didn't look like what I did, you did your own yoga practice. I'm proud of you for being here. I'd love to know what you thought, what you'd like to see more of on my channel. I hope you have a great rest of your day.